Hey everybody, Mac Monster here, back with Marvel Heroes. I got Loki, and he's sitting at 38 right now, which is pretty close enough to be able to do a build. And I'm pretty sure I got the build that I'm going to do. So seeing how he's already been reviewed with skills, I'm just going to go straight to the build. And I'm going to call it the Master of Deception. It's going to be highly run through the mischief level. I find it more fun that way. I tried a few different things that work well together, and there's more possibilities in what I'm doing, so it's really a choice for me of what skills I don't want as opposed to what I want, because I want a lot of them. So they did a really good job with it. One skill I'm not going with, though, is actually this Arcane Ruin. I've been able to play with it, and you know, it's not bad for every 12 seconds, but the damage output isn't quite what it says. And I like Meteoric Illusion, whose damage output probably equals Arcane Ruin. So if you're going to do one, you should probably pick one or the other. However, Meteoric Illusion there is usable far faster. It's only got a 4-second cooldown, so you don't even really notice it. And Arcane Ruin has a 12-second cooldown, and it promises some big numbers, but I blow it off. It's about 30,000 damage total on these dummies, and Meteoric Illusion easily hits that within 12 seconds. I can fire that off about 3 times as opposed to this once. Now, I don't like the illusions gone, because now you got to also consider your illusions are gone and they're no longer dealing damage until you can generate them again. It doesn't take long to get them there if you do a few tricks, but you know, that is still time without illusions out there, and that leaves you vulnerable as well. So that's the other reason why I'm not doing Arcane Ruin. I would like to do Cold Snap, and I really would like to put points in there to test it out. I haven't been able to test it out. But just based on the damage and the fact that it returns health per enemy chilled, you know, it's a nice oh no button. And it's only got a 6-second cooldown, so that's going to be highly usable. And so, the Master Deception build, I'm going to start with Spatial Deception. If you're not going to go melee, you want to go ranged, you're going to want to go with Arcane Illusion. And that brings us up to bug number 1. Arcane Illusion is supposed to have a limit to max illusions. It doesn't. You can just spawn as many as you can. I'm sure that'll be fixed. That's another reason why I'm not going with it. Don't want to really put out anything out there that's bugged. However, if you're going ranged, you're going to want the Arcane Illusions, because they're ranged illusions as well. And we're going to want to maximize, of course, Lord of Deception. This increases the maximum amount of illusions you can have out there. It also increases their duration and their damage. Very, very huge benefit from this. Not to mention a massive amount of dodge and a nice little bit of projectile evasion. And we're going to maximize Meteoric Illusion. This is bug number 2, however, it's not bugged in our favor, it's bugged in our detriment. You can hit it and it won't work, and the cooldown will go off, and you'll have to wait for the cooldown to come back. I'm sure that will get fixed sooner or later, and it doesn't really happen that often, but it does happen enough that you're going to notice it. But as you can see, 7 illusions at, say, 2,000 damage, that's 14,000 damage every 4 seconds. That's right on par with Arcane Ruin. The next one we're going to put points into, I'm debating whether or not I should or shouldn't. And the reason being is I could put points to something else. So I'm kind of torn with some AoEs that we got going on out there. I know I want Cold Snap, and I know I want Meteoric Illusion. I just don't know if I need this Arcane Binding. It's a very nice dot on the Arcane Binding. But I think we're going to pass on it. We're not going to do actually anything in the sorcery tree. Instead, we're going to put points into Frost Armor. And that's going to give us a nice chunk of defense and some lifesteal. We want to maximize that lifesteal. Another place to put points would be Juten Blood for the hit point buff. But it doesn't go up that well, so we're not going to. Next one we're going to do is Cold Snap, but we don't have Cold Snap, so we're going to do Permafrost Spikes, which will work almost as good as the Cold Snap. It might even work a little bit better. And finally, we're going to put points into Jute and Blood. So if you weren't going to put points in Frost Armor, you could put points in your signature ability. It doesn't go up well with points. You know, I'm reserving this for a +20 skill, as well as enemy as my enemy. I put a point in it to have it, but really I want a +20 on that as well. And we want a point in illusionary projection. If you can get +20 on it, that's fine. If not, you're not going to miss it. And then we're going to put a point into arcane levitation to make sure that we can fly around and have some speed. And that's the build, the Master of Deception. Very deceptive because, well, it is highly based on deception. It's also heavily based on Giant's Blood, which is the Frost side. And we can work it around a little bit. You could do a +20 for Frost Armor because that doesn't go up that well either with points. And then build up Cold Snap and use Permafrost with Cold Snap. That's fine, you know. Permafrost, Cold Snap, Meteoric Illusion, Cold Snap, Meteoric Illusions, or actually Permafrost. You can work those three in together if you want a real trash pack clearing ability. However, the illusions alone are pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it's like. Now we got the points in there. So my left attack is going to be the mouse. My right is going to be my teleport. The teleport's one way to generate minions. However, illusionary projection is probably the fastest. There's no speed on it, so it just summons a lot of illusions out there. And once they're out there, you can hammer them home. And this also works very well as a means to get all your illusions attacking one target. Very helpful. We don't want Arcane Ruin, but we are going to want Meteor and Permafrost. We'll get our armor down. Let's see, do I need anything else? Oh, we get the signature out. We got to fly down. Everything else is passive based. Perfect. Now, to equip it, I highly suggest a Latverian Regalia because of the 20% damage to summoned allies. Your illusions count as summoned allies. Therefore, that is buffing the illusion damage massively. And then I also highly suggest Sinister's Medallion, again, for the damage dealt. That's the part that you want increased the most. He's very, very pet-oriented. Those illusions are important. The duration boost is okay. I went into a Wonder Gore Clay because the illusions don't have hit points. So they just have a duration. The Wonder Gore Clay will increase the duration, but we're getting a massive amount of duration already just from Lord of Deception and the Sinister's Medallion. You know, Super Soldier Serum is obvious. 5,000 health a minute is awesome with 530 hit points and some spirit regen and some spirit. Can't complain there. The other ones, actually, when you get to the other artifact slots, a very interesting one to take would be a scroll targeting computer. Because of the plus damage, the target's not attacking you. You're not getting attacked usually because you got minions out there. And obviously we're doing a lot of melee, so a Yukio's Charm, Super Heroic would be nice. You know, you can fit anything in there that you want that you're missing. Ring, best choice as possible, obviously. You can see I've been very lucky. I got both uniques. Even though that's level 18, I can't replace that one. That is just an awesome, awesome unique. The Eichel, which is basically Loki backwards. Someone got bored. And then Latvin, or Levitin, the sword. I wish it had different bonuses. I'll probably re-roll maybe or something if I got one later with those same plus skills because I'm not using any of them. I went for crit on the costume and obviously a cord just to increase the amount of crit. So my stats, you can see I'm getting a little bit over 100 health a second Very nice. I'm sitting at a lean 39.3% defense rating, so that's 40% defense. However, I'm also at a 40% dodge. Yeah, I'm not getting hit much, and I'm not taking a lot of damage. I'm reducing a lot of damage when I do get hit. I got a nice, sweet critical strike rating, 20%. And I actually have a 4% brutal strike rating. Not too important there. Everything else is minimal. I don't run out of mana. I don't have a problem with spirit at all. You can see I got an excessive amount already. I really want that cold snap. But permafrost spikes is nice because it does go under where you're targeting, which helps out a lot because usually you're just going to be sitting there targeting this. Get those up, wait for a few summons to come up, and there you go. And you can just spam these spikes. You can see these spikes hit pretty hard. They're not a joke, and you can spam them. You can do about once per second. So do 2 spikes, 1 meteor. And you're dishing out a ton of damage. And I'll go show you what it's like. Let's see, I can port directly to a green terminal now. I'm 38 though. Let's see what we can do here. 38. Oh, a Kingpins would be good. Taskmaster would be orange. You can handle orange pretty good. Hoods. Hoods would be nice and fast. Let's go there. So it'll be orange. My frost armor stayed on. Always make sure your frost armor stays on. Sometimes it falls off. So now, oops, I got the wrong right click. Misdirection. There we go. If you want to spam out a ton of illusions, you can lose illusionary projection. Their damage is based off your spatial deception. So, you know, you don't have to worry about that. They are good. And that was the meteor illusion. Permafrost spikes is going to be more than enough able to get rid of minions and white trash. My favorite thing to say in game, of course. I'm not used to working with permafrost spikes, but I'll get used to it pretty soon. What's nice is both Meteoric Illusion and the spikes don't interrupt your melee strikes. But the Meteoric Illusion doesn't always go off either, so you gotta spam it a little bit. No, see, it didn't go off. I thought it was going to go off. You see that Meteoric Illusion just destroys stuff. And the cold-based AoE does provide a little bit nice of crowd control. You can see Hood's already been torn up a bit. So I'm going to have to use my ultimate, or signature I should say. And yes, it's really that easy. I have soloed Madam Hydra, World Boss. I've soloed Electro, World Boss. I've soloed Magneto and Rhino together in Midtown bosses. It's pretty disgusting how powerful Loki is and this build is, and it'll be even better with Cold Snap. If you want a dot, it's a little bit harder to work with the arcane binding, but it does provide a mobility as well. So it's kind of like a crowd controller. If you're looking for a crowd controller, you got a group and you want to be a little bit more group friendly, you can go with arcane binding. However, permafrost spikes does do almost the same thing, but this slows attack speed as well as movement speed. And if you freeze them twice, they are frozen solid. So, permafrost does work. And so that's it. That's Loki. That's Loki's build. His Master of Deception, very pet-oriented. I want to do everything for the pet. That increased damage to the pet is awesome, because you can see you're running around with, this is giving me +3, so, 6 illusions. So being able to increase about 40% of the damage with illusions through the gear. 17 there, 20 there. And then, of course, we're getting another 30 there. So that's 60% increased damage to the illusions. We're really getting the illusions to do a lot of damage. So I hope it helped. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you later.